Okay, we're now live. I know one or two people are waiting, which is great, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, this is so weird. New colors, new setup. But you know what? I think we're up and running. I think we're ready to go. We're going out on Twitch. We're going out on Periscope. We're going out on Facebook pages. We're going out on YouTube. We're also going out on my Patreon page, which means if you're a Patreon supporter, maybe worthwhile watching from there. If anything, to let me know if you can also do the comment there. I suspect you can, because it's all coming from the same kind of input. But this starts with something interesting, and I hope you can enjoy it. So let's just say, couldn't stay away from you. Well, couldn't stay away, could you? Yeah. Safe to say, I've been missing you. Andrew, I'm looking forward to hearing what you're talking about, TF Nation. Please do let us know what it's been all about. And indeed, one or two people have been watching Metaverse. Oh boy. But I've got some exciting news for you, and I hope you're up for this. We'll get into all of it as we start a new season of Talkin Con. As always, comments. I want to hear what you think about what I've got to say today. We'll see what we think. Alrighty then. Shall we do this? Yes, he says, as he gets himself into his position and get everything all sorted. We've got opening titles now. Yes, I've been a little bit creative over the last week and a half, and I hope you've enjoyed it. That's what you're going to see at the beginning of all of our episodes going forward for this season. I could tweak it as we go, but for now, I think that looks very good. I hope you enjoy it. Also, one or two slight changes technically as well. I'm actually looking at a screen so I can actually look at our guests directly in the eye. So yes, as well as looking into the camera. But just wanted to check how it's sounding as well, because I'm also running these earpod things, which is making my voice sound a little bit muffled, but at least there's no dangling wires. Let us know how it sounds, please. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name's Leonard Sultana, and this is season 8. We're back with a brand new season, a brand new run of episodes. It's great to see so many people joining in and commenting. One or two people have been saying that it didn't actually feel like I'd left. You're right. The episode that we had with Philip Bond on Monday, just gone, was excellent. It was a lot of fun. It was a great way to just kind of keep the old podcasting muscles going. And it was also a great way to support that fantastic Kickstarter. If you did get the chance to check that out, by the way, the Kickstarter ended on Wednesday, and it absolutely blew through its titles, through its intended goals. Did a really good job of it. Hopefully you supported it. We'll talk about Kickstarters as we go throughout the course of this episode. It's only a kind of a welcome back, because we've got one or two things that we want to announce, one or two things we want to talk about, and of course we want to get into all sorts of fun and games when it comes to what's happening next weekend, and indeed what's happened this weekend. Virtual conventions, it seems to be, for now, for 2020, the new normal. We've got ourselves a couple of conventions which are coming up later on this year here in the UK, which are already getting itself kind of geared up for what their efforts are going to be. So you've had Lakes filming some exclusive content, which they've been out and about. They've been doing outside broadcast stuff. So they've been busy. You've got Thought Bubble that's starting to pull together its panel content as well. I'm going to be producing a couple of elements for that. So looking forward to putting together some videos for some great creatives. A fantastic new book, which I've been shared with by Tim Pilger. That looks fantastic. Hopefully I'll be doing the launch at Thought Bubble. And also we've got a writer's panel, which I'm going to be producing for RAM-V. So looking forward to bringing that. But it does give you that sense of the different approaches that conventions and these virtual cons have been doing. So we're going to be getting into that. We're also going to be talking about our special guests, which are going to be coming up for certainly the next 5 or 6 episodes. We've got ourselves a fantastic lineup. But as always, we start off with something just to say thank you very much indeed for sticking with us throughout the course of lockdown, throughout the course of the trying times that COVID put us through. The way I tried to compensate was to put out more content, to go twice a week, which, to be fair, with the guests that we've got lined up, we could even go twice a week now, but we're sticking with just once a week. I put a Twitter poll out and people said, you know what, once a week of your face is more than enough. So I got the message. I took the message. But as always, what I wanted to start with is just a message of thanks for everyone for sticking with us. Thanks to everybody who's on the chat at the moment. It's great to have you kind of talking and interacting with each other. Let's just dive in with everyone. Leanne D saying, hello guys, welcome along. Teresa P, hot damn. I'm guessing that was about the opening titles. Hope you enjoyed those, by the way. Indeed, Aaron Neighbour saying, love the intro. It took a little bit of work, but it was fun to put together. Into the Blue Mister, someone's been creative. It's just been great to have you responding to the video which I posted online a couple of days ago, and indeed the fact that you've joined us for this. As always, please do spread the word, like, subscribe. I do have some other graphics somewhere which I've completely forgotten to put on, but just basically, if you can like and subscribe, please do jump in and help any way you can by supporting, by just letting everyone know that we're out here talking about comic conventions, talking about comics, talking about some other fun and games, because as always, we've got plenty of people that we've got from all the different genres, but we do have a lot of comics people that we're going to be talking to. But it's just been great that you've taken the podcast to heart, and hopefully you'll stick with us as we go through the course. Into the Blue Mister is the user picture, new to the comment. No, that was always there, I think. The way that I'm doing the setup from here on in is I was running through, I'm still using StreamYard. It's a StreamYard you may have seen more and more, actually, through a number of people that are using it. But I wanted to use StreamYard a bit more because instead of going StreamYard to a service which propagated the podcast out to the various platforms, I decided, let's not use that setup. Let's use StreamYard directly. It does a great job of doing the whole business of sharing the stream to the various platforms. And it's also going to help with something that I'm going to be announcing and talking about a little bit later on. So we'll get into that. But as always, like I say, the thing that I wanted to mention is that this is absolutely your live stream. The people that jump on these chats and talk, not only with each other, which is great, everyone's kind of like having their own little conversations without me, but you can shush. The fact that you can interact with each other and the fact that you can interact with myself, that's really all I can ask for. I am going to pick that up. Guess that might be a microphone, but there we go. But it's all about you. It's always been about you. The reason which I'm going to talk about when it comes to the live streams and when it comes to the way that virtual conventions have been operating is the fact that I will always do a live stream. The live stream will always be an integral part of what Talkin Con is all about. Much like a number of streams which I'm a fan of, John Sutra's Word Balloon, and the original Drink and Draw social on a Thursday evening, the fact that there can be audience questions, the fact that there can be this interaction with you guys, that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's not just me asking the question. I know that we had the session with Philip Bond, and I know solicitors may got a really good question in. I did forward it on to Philip because it was a great question, but I hadn't had a response back, unfortunately. And I really want to apologise for not getting that question in. But that's the kind of thing that I'm after, that interaction with you guys taking part and really going forward. So, Leanne D, I'm just glad I got my iPad working so I can watch today. Leanne, it's a pleasure to have you joining us, as always. So there we go. Solicitors Make, it's my live stream. When can I expect royalties? Being a smart ass is much fun. You know what? Yeah, you get some great questions in, so I can't exactly argue with you. At the end of the day, you do a great job of putting some really clever questions together, really insightful ones. So the more you keep those coming, the more I'll be happy. And hopefully you'll be happy with the guests that we've got coming up as well, because we'll start with that. We'll start with what's coming up for season 8. I'm going to be doing my best to reach out to more and more guests. There are a hit list of people that I really would like to get on. Kevin Smith is always on that list, I'm not going to lie, but I wouldn't mind getting the likes of Gail Simone, who has turned around and said that she'd be up for it. Tom King has been a bit of a tease, but who knows. I really want to try and get Conan O'Brien on this season, because I want to talk to him about Team Coco and how important it is. It speaks volumes that they're still putting out the Funko Pops. So, you know, I'm curious about trying to get him on, but hopefully you can bear with us while we do our best. As always, if there's anybody you would like us to try and get on the Hangout, now's the time to tell me. We'll do our best to get as much as I possibly can up onto social media to talk to people, to get them to come onto the show. Because as always, it's all about getting them to interact with me so we can go from there. Right, let's go with the guest announcement then. It's something which I've been working on while I took the little bit of break. And it was fun to get these guests together. One of the guests came from Danbury. I know Dan may be watching. I think he may be watching he may be watching Mainframe Comic Con, or he may be busy with something else himself. But we have ourselves these guests that are lined up, and I hope you enjoy them, starting from next week. So let's go through our list through to the Sunday, the 20th of September. Yes, we have got that guests all the way through for the next 5 episodes. Into the Blue Mist for season 8. I want time travel. I want characters back from the dead and a huge crossover. We'll continue to try with the crossover. I'd love to try and get the con guy back. That was fun. Time travel, that might be a little bit awkward to work, but we'll see what we can do. But Dan Berry was somebody who was very helpful in organising one of these guests, and it's the guest that we're going to be starting off with next week, episode 2. On Sunday, the 23rd of August, is Derrick Robinson. Now, Derrick, of course, has got himself a lot of high profile at the moment, what with The Boys, doing nicely on Amazon Prime Video. Still yet to see season 2, by the way. But yeah, Derrick has agreed to come on, and looking forward to talking to him. Not only just about The Boys, but about his career. He's very active on social media. He's somebody that is still very a lot of fun with his fans, and he's still very much a great creative to talk to. So it's great to talk to him about his career, how The Boys has impacted his time in 2020, and what he's got coming up. So that's going to be an interesting conversation, I think. Of course, Derrick Robinson on Sunday, the 23rd of August. On Sunday, the 30th of August, is somebody who is very much in the spotlight right now. What with Joker War, with a bunch of his other books as well, which is doing great guns. He's an amazing talent. And like I say, he's got plenty of projects on the burner at the moment. James Tynion, the fourth, really looking forward to talking to him. He is, like I say, is somebody who is balancing a lot of projects, and I find those people interesting. The ones that can really compartmentalize the projects they've got on their plate. So yeah, I think that would be an interesting conversation. So looking forward to talking to James on Sunday, the 30th of August. Don't know why the date thing is. That's all over the place. Isn't it? I typed that completely wrong. But on Sunday, the 6th of September, take the August off the end there, you get the idea. Cullen Bunn. Now, Cullen is somebody who I met at MCM London Comic Con in 2018. For some reason, I wasn't able to get to talk to him at that show. But we kind of met, we talked, and we've been on, chatting on social media ever since. He's a fascinating bloke, a brilliant storyteller, someone who's got a very firm grasp of his place in the comics industry. Yeah, a very cool chap indeed, and very much worth talking to. That is Sunday, the 6th of September. That is Cullen Bunn. So looking forward to talking to him. Then on Sunday, the 13th of September, very much geared towards what the main thrust of the show is all about Comic Cons. And we're very lucky to get Julie Tate, the director of the Lakes International Comic Art Festival. Another show that's going virtual for 2020. But obviously they've got a slightly different challenge, because the Lakes Festival, number one, is a very niche kind of guest list that they get on. They're very much about artistic creatives, not so much the mainstream, very much independent creators, very much international, and those slightly niche styles. It's certainly not, while they do get one or two of your Marvel and your DCs and your Image Boys, they are more geared towards the perhaps European sense of style, which kind of already kind of feeds back into the way that it's modelled, because the Lakes is very much based around the Angoulême Festival, which is a small town just outside of Paris. The idea being that the whole town gets involved in putting on very focused events at libraries, schools, arts centres around the town, and the whole town becomes the focus, and you bounce from venue to venue. And it's very much a case of that kind of festival atmosphere that Lakes put on. Turning that into a virtual event is a different challenge. It's okay if you're turning MCM, or if you're turning Emerald City or New York Comic Con into a virtual convention. How do you turn a festival into a virtual event? You're kind of getting a sense of it at the moment. If you go to Lakes Comic Art Festival, or Lakes Comic Festival, to get it right, on search for that on Google, they currently actually have their Artist Alley up and running right now. It's usually taking place in what's called the Clock Tower, which which is the town hall in the actual city of Kendal, in the Lake District. And it's up and running right now. It's been created and curated by two incredible artists, Luke McGarry and his dad as well. And they're coming at it from a slightly different angle. But interesting to check out what they've got planned. Julie is the person who started the thing from scratch. She's got an interesting approach. Generally, she's an event organizer, which her son happens to like comics, and said, I would love if there was a comic convention in this neck of the woods in the Lake District. At which point she went, okay, and put one on, and it was out of the gate an absolutely phenomenal success. It speaks volumes about what Julie's got under the table when it comes to putting things together. Looking forward to talking to her. That's Sunday the 13th of September. That's Julie Tate. And then on Sunday the 20th of September, the book is over there. I've got the book. I am a fan of the book. That Texas Blood, which is the latest book from Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. I reached out to Chris and said, would he be up for joining us? At which point Chris said, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll email Jacob, who's the artist, son of Sean Phillips. It runs in the blood, literally. And they said, yeah, we're up for that. We've got the latest issue will be coming out around that time. Yeah, we'll be up for coming on. And they're going to be talking that Texas Blood. They're going to be talking about their convention history. They're going to be talking about how things have been going throughout the course of the year, self-publishing through the likes of Image, or self-creating through the likes of Image, through this very rich noir story, which has been beautifully rendered, fantastically told. If you get the chance to read that Texas Blood, the third issue, I think, will be out around the time of this particular issue, this particular episode going forward. So I think the first two issues will be out certainly in the next week or so. If you get the chance to read it, do check it out. It's a brilliant piece of work, and I'm looking forward to talking to that Texas Blood's Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. So there you go. That's our guest list. I hope you enjoy that so far. One or two people are jumping in with some comments. Solicitor Smeg, you should try and go after Donny Cates as a guest. He seems really interesting. And indeed, Dan, let's listener know and remind him. Cates has already been on the show. Came on with Megan, and we were supposed to talk for 45 minutes. And 2 hours later, we wrapped up the conversation. Great guest. Do check out the last season's worth of videos. Because yeah, very cool indeed. Dan Berry is also reminding us about Derrick's books as well. He's got the new Hellblazer series with Tom Taylor coming soon. Derrick has that sensibility, and he knows what he's doing. So yeah, that's going to be particularly cool. Leanne D is also talking about his other book, Something Killing the Children is Spectacular, which it was. And yes, we are going to be talking to James Tynion IV about that. So Mr. Meg, has Kelly Thompson been on? She'd be a great interview. I've tried talking to Kelly Thompson. I've reached out to her. I've reached out, like I say, to Gail Simone. Reached out to a bunch of people. Reached out to Alex Ross via his agent. We'll see. We will see. Yeah, we'll watch this space. We will do our best to get some more up and running when it comes to guests. So there we go. So that's the guest list for the next couple of weeks. 5 weeks worth of rather cool guests. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed that little bunch. Starts off next week. Derrick Robinson is our first guest for episode 2. So there we go. Right. Let's talk about what has come and what is coming, considering that we have ourselves some impressive conventions that are taking place right now. This thing is not going to stay in my ear, is it? You can tell I'm just getting used to this. There we go. the completely fuffled me up there. The conventions that are happening right now are mainframe and also the Repop event, which is very much under the umbrella of New York Comic Con, Emerald City, C2E2, MSIM London. They're pulling together most of the creative teams and the organizers of those individual events under the Repop banner, and they're creating this thing called Metaverse, which you can find at the Metaverse, and indeed we'll bring up the pages and we'll kind of compare and contrast between the two. But I think the one thing that it's interesting to see at the end of the day, these are events which are brought from a commercial sensibility. Unlike Comic-Con at Home, which was a charitable event and for profit, and it kind of showed, while they put a lot of effort in, and they really did put so much into making Comic-Con at Home a success, and I believe it was a success. At the end of the day, this is where the money comes in. When you have a business which puts these events on and can throw a gobload of cash at it, find the Metaverse. It speaks volumes about what they put together. So, I mean, we can very quickly have a look, and it speaks to what we've actually got for the actual the difference of approaches. We'll start with Metaverse first. Like you say, you've got those events there, including Keystone Comic Con, Florida SuperCon, Emerald City, etc. But I did like the way that this has been a lot more slickly organized in terms of organizing and getting to stuff. The one thing about San Diego Comic-Con generally is that website has been in place for quite some time. The design has been there for at least 4, 5, 6 years now. It hasn't changed, and getting to the Comic-Con at Home stuff was particularly difficult. Here, it's one website. It's not assigned to New York. It's not assigned to MCM. It's one website, and it will be the blanket umbrella uniform going forward, especially considering that they are going to be expanding this for New York Comic Con later on in the year in October. All kind of nicely paired out. Some great guests involved as well. Some great panels. The panels are literally up and running right now. I like the fact that they're doing this as well, that they are, you come to it and you can find out exactly what is happening right now. Ashley Exting, of course, she's doing a Q&A. I would say the design as well is a little bit slicker. So, for example, if we actually just bring up the actual event, this is the design of the actual site. If I just bring that into mute, using a Zoom, pre-recording the conversation, not so much anything, very much like San Diego Comic-Con, it's all pre-recorded, but what they've done is they've taken the elements of the actual Zoom call and spruced it up. They've unified the branding, they've unified the design, and it's just a little bit slicker. I'd possibly say it's too slick in that those are two letterboxes very much into the window of the conversation. So it's a little bit awkward sometimes to see. But I personally think I like the idea that it's a uniform design. It's not just a Zoom call that's been recorded and stuck a top and tail on of a graphic. It's something which is a little bit more slicker and it's more designed. I quite like that. It was the downside of San Diego Comic-Con in that it was just asking someone to hit record on a Zoom call with no production whatsoever, and it did seem very haphazard, kind of loose in the way it was put together. This, obviously, there's a bit more money involved and a bit more time. And they've learned the lessons from everyone that's done comic conventions throughout the course of the summer. Also doing a great job as well of doing all the exhibitors, very much focusing people on getting people to buy things. I like the idea that you can go to these pages and you get a little a scrolling diagram of the individual items or things that people are selling. Bit of a description, you get straight to the website, you find out more, and it goes all the way down the line. It's a lot. Instead of getting bogged down in that attempt at the virtual exhibition floor, this way it just gets straight into it, and you can just scroll down. Whatever catches your eye in the thumbnails. I mean, there you go. There you go. Bramble Down Designs. That looks quite good. I like the look of that. I might click on that. You get the idea. It's okay. Chocolate Fusion. Fine. I can't exactly argue. This is pretty much what MCM and indeed New York Comic Con does. So I quite like that, and I do like the fact that you can also bounce between the various platforms. So you can just go through the comic exhibitors. It's got its own dedicated page right there, comics/exhibitors. It's easier to get to. You can actually find things faster, and I like the way that it supports the artists by showcasing what they're doing. Personally, I think it's a little bit of a better way of doing it than we saw with San Diego. Solicitor Smeg is my cat with by the bell, Mike with the bell. He's over there, and yes, he is rattling. So don't worry, you don't need to see a doctor. I should have kicked him out of the room, but he looked quite settled. And like I say, he's not been well. He's been through the walls. He's got a bit of a scratch where he's been fighting. So I'm keeping an eye on him. So, but thank you very much, Steve. No, you don't. If you're not smelling burnt toast, you're not hearing bells, don't worry about it. You're fine. Leanne D, is Metaverse taking the place of NYCC? Yes, it is. Metaverse is running this weekend. It was always going to planned to go out live, and this has been kind of like their soft open. It's their way of getting a sense of what people are watching, getting a sense of how the actual events are being run, especially when it comes to the panel content. I mean, if I just very quickly go to a page which speaks volumes, the actual they haven't set up a dedicated YouTube page. It is actually at the moment all the content is going out on the page for New York Comic Con. So if I just very quickly bring up that, at least then you can get a sense of the way that they're putting the content out. Something that I complained about or had a little bit of an issue with San Diego was the fact that there was no way of properly identifying videos and the way that they're being scheduled and the way that they've got all the panels lined up. The way that they've done it for this is exactly how it should have been. All of these videos, I think this is actually the last one that went up, which is the Tom DeLonge panel. All of them went up as YouTube premieres, which means there was a countdown. There was a thumbnail. There was a description. And it was something that was a YouTube link that was ready and waiting for you to jump in. It had a Q&A. You can talk on the comments, and there's a sense of interaction with the actual event. I know as well, say, for example, with the Star Trek Lower Decks panel, the actual producers of that jumped in on the comments afterwards, and also while the actual premiere was happening, which meant there was a dialogue. People could ask questions in the Q&A comments, in the Q&A chat. And they all kind of, there was a sense of real interaction with the fans. I thought that was rather cool. So there we go. Like I say, it's a little bit slicker, a little bit easier to navigate. It's easier to get a sense of what video you're looking for. I'm not necessarily entirely convinced by this whole sense of the graphic taking up the left hand or the right hand side of the screen. So you've got this one area here. Yes, the title of the panel may come up every once in a while, but it does seem a little bit like a waste of space on that particular side. But these are things you learn. But again, uniform design, I have no problem with it. I think it looked really, really cool. Yeah, people are talking about the cat. Don't worry, he's asleep now, so he's not rattling any bells. We're fine. My personal opinion of Enter the Metaverse, it's a very slick event. It's everything that we wanted San Diego Comic-Con to be. But then again, they've had more time, they've had more money, they've had more resources, and they've basically delivered the product slicker and better. However, there's been another virtual convention that's happened this weekend, and they've gone at it from a slightly different angle. They actually went at it very much from the word go when it came to COVID, which was Mainframe Comic-Con, organized by a comics retailer, and they decided to just very quickly put together, using StreamYard, hey, see it catches on, using StreamYard to put together a live stream, literally going full in, starting at the 10 o'clock in the morning, all the way through to something like 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. A couple of different administrators, because one would just get burnt out throughout the course of the day. But basically, they would organize and produce everything from behind the scenes. They would do an intro at the beginning, and then they would welcome people into the behind the scenes, have a bit of a chat using the private chat function, run a graphic if needs be, and then introduce the panelists to the session, and controlling everything as a live stream. You get the definite sense of the reason why Metaverse and Comic-Con International wanted to go with their pre-recorded, because every once in a while some technical issues would kick in. We had the Justice League animated panel yesterday, and you had a couple of the slightly older members of the congregation struggling with their Wi-Fi. But those issues you kind of work your way through when it's pre-recorded. This is a live element, and it's that sense of that live kind of interaction, that kind of sense of live television. Anything can happen. I like that higher wire act. I think that's it's a different approach. It's a little bit more spit and sawdust. There's more risk. There's more at stake. They hadn't, as far as I'm aware, they didn't have a no-show. I think they only had one, which was an actor yesterday. But if I just bring up the schedule. Oh, another thing as well, which they did, especially for this one. This is the biggest one they've done. They organised something called Halls. Now, this was interesting. What they did was they paired up and partnered with a number of other live streamers that was also using StreamYard, or they they bought the StreamYard package for them. They basically got all the links to the videos that they were putting out into this website. So everything can be found on the website. So that's rather cool. But at least the streams are running concurrently, and you had a whole variety of content throughout the course of yesterday and today. And some really great talent as well, from the likes of Jock, from Robert Wool, from Batman 89, from Eric Powell, from The Goon, Kevin Eastman, Walking Dead panel, Superman writers panel. This is all on the Saturday. Just the sheer amount, and it is all comics based as well. So it's very much there are one or two multimedia stuff, the Nosferatu, The Walking Dead, etc. But for the vast majority, it's all coming from that comics standpoint. So yes, it was Kari Yagawa, who I'm aware from Planet of the Apes, and also there was a Sean Connery film which he starred in. He was a no-show, unfortunately. So they got Robert Mayer Bernard, formerly of Star Trek, to come on. Cool. So they've got contingencies in mind for when they have those dropouts. But the idea being that the panels are put together, and they're put together by the individual elements, come in, they kind of take up space on individual channels, and you can find them easily on the website. I think it's a very, very cool idea. Just to give you a sense as well. So here's the Sunday schedule. So at the moment it's coming up to 7:45, so 3:30. At the moment, you've got Al Ewing, you've got Monstrosity, Source Point Press, you've got the Erica Schultz panel that's on the way, Jason Spasal. So just to give you a sense of how the thing works, you've got your individual halls. You click on your individual hall, and your video pops up. You can interact with live chat. It gives you all the information if you just click on that particular fact. I think it's going to be Al Ewing. Oh, no, there we go. It's, oh no, what's his name? Is that Tom Taylor? I believe it's Tom Taylor. And you've got a great moderator. I think it's Corey Genyanu. I can never pronounce his first name, but you get the idea. It's really quite, it's a nice way of doing things. I think it's a very clever way of organizing this live event. Admittedly, like I say, it's like the High Wire event, High Wire Act, but it works. I think it works really, really well. Let's have a look at some questions coming in. Solicitor Smeg, I didn't hate San Diego Comic-Con's virtual con. I just felt it's the biggest con around all things. They should have already been taking place for years. I think they should have taken more risks. I think I agree. Aaron Neighbours, mainframe previous event and the current moment, and also Russell Notty's 2 virtual live events. I know that you were watching with me with Russell Notty's taking over social media. I didn't necessarily agree with everything he said, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to have that conversation. I thought it was a very cool setup. But no, very good point indeed. I liked the comparison, the contrast between the two. When you have this, which is obviously a lot of very passionate fans that are putting something together, and then you have the money. So it's very much a case of that combination between the passion of fans and the money of Repop. You're seeing both sides of the equation. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's have a look at this. Toby's saying, may have missed this. Is there any mention that Metaverse is going to be free like Comic-Con at home? Yes, it is. That's a slight difference. That's well, I mean, then again, no, like Metaverse and Mainframe, they are making some money some way, but they're doing it with their meet and greets. If you could just go to the meet and greets, let's compare prices. That's a good way to start on this regard. This is run through Tixer. Let's give you a sense of how much these items are. There you go, Robert Wool, $75. And as far as I'm aware, it's a 2-minute chat. Don't know why the website's getting a bit. So there we go. See who else we've got in board. Susan Eisenberg from Wonder Woman. But no, let's stick with Robert Wool. Let's just click on him. $75. It's a 2 to 3 minute chat. You get a video file. It's your interaction with the fans. Yeah, at the end of the day, this is the kind of price range that a number of virtual meet and greets have been running, such as Virtual Pop Expo earlier on in the year. And it's a way for not only the talent to get their recompense, but also Mainframe as well. Then you have the slight, the difference. So let's go to it. Let's bring up findthemetaverse.com and let's go to the meet and greets. Now, admittedly, there's not as many on this particular site. Indeed, it feels like a first run this feels like dipping the toe. Let's see if it works. Let's see if the web works. Let's see the panel. It's a shame that the panels aren't embedded like you get with mainframe, but you get the idea. The meet and greets. Okay. There's one here which may make you sit down if you are not if you've not seen this yet. Some great. Oh, I don't know why it's opening up 3 times. Let's just get rid of those. Right. So, Anamia, great cosplayer, $40 for a 3-minute meet and greet. 5 minutes, $50. So if you go to Doctor Who, for a personalized video message emailed to you, it's $102. Likewise for Arthur Darvill. There isn't one for Matt Smith. Matt Smith has not done one of these. Supernatural, a personalized video recorded message emailed to you by the September the 15th, $236.50. That's a lot of money for a personalized video recording message. I mean, wow. That actually made me stop in my tracks. I don't know why. I actually don't know why it's been. Sorry, have I been showing completely the wrong string? I do apologize. Just bring that back up again. I believe it is this one. I think. Hang on. Let me find it. Where is it? It's that one. This one. Sorry about that. Right. There it is. $236.50 for a personalized video message. Not even a chat, not a online Q&A, as far as I'm aware. You can have meet and greets where you can actually talk to people. I mean, the comics ones, shock, horror, surprise, not as expensive. Scott Snyder sold out. Bravo. Teenie Howard, Greg Capullo. That happened. Well, it happened. Yes, happened an hour ago. There we go. $22. Fair enough. But like I say, that Doctor Who one, $102 for a personalized message, and then you've got merch as well. It's just a lot of money. But there we go. Star Trek Picard, a little bit cheaper, $80 for a personalized message with Michelle O'Hurd or Evan Ivagoria or Isa Brions. So there we go. It's a little bit cheap. Sorry, a little bit expensive. So there you go. Dan Berry in a few on Mainframe Con will be Frank Giggle, who wrote No Heroine. If you've not read, you should. It's a great read. It's reviewed on the Convention Collective. Thank you very much, Steve. That's in a few moments. So there you go. Into the Blue Mister. I'd want them to come round to my house, clean it, and make me tea for that amount. Yeah. I mean, there you go. Leanne D. 4 Supernaturals. It's the same amount to fix my broken car. Yeah. That's not cheap. But I suspect Reed Pop get their cut, the agent gets their cut, Misha Collins gets his cut. It's the price of doing business with a virtual convention in 2020. Mainframe, the vast majority of the money that they raise, in fact, I think all the money, the money they raise is going to the Hero Initiative. So it's also kind of a charitable event. So it's that combination between the two. So there we go. My personal take, I enjoy both. Certainly for the content, for the actual live content, I think Metaverse is slick. It's visually appealing. The sound's slightly better. I think it works. Guess it's possibly a little bit too small on the graphics, but that's me being nitpicky. As somebody who's been messing around with video editing this week, I've been a little bit picky about how much you can see of something. on screen at a certain time. And there's a lot that can be discussed on that. But I really like the high wire act of Mainframe, and the sheer amount of content has been impressive. Helps, of course, when you have the likes of John Sutras, who's got a Rolodex of over 20 years worth of comics talent to call on, and he did. He's been talking to a lot of people throughout lockdown, but he just invited them back for a chat to come on. And the people that he's managed to get involved has been very impressive. A little bit like an unfortunate repeat performance if you've been following the Word Balloon chat. I mean, for example, on the opening preview night stream on the Friday for Mainframe, they had the likes of Matt Fraction and Kelly Sutaconic. They kept calling back to a previous conversation they'd had 3 weeks ago. So speaks kind of volumes about that kind of, if you've been a fan of Word Balloon, you've seen these people. But the fact that they've managed to get them involved and get them into this event, this live virtual con, I think that's pretty cool. I think there's pros and cons to both. Which do I prefer? I think I prefer Mainframe, just for the sheer amount of content. That may change for New York Comic Con. At the end of the day, for that event in October, Repop will go all out. They will have the people that they would have been bringing to New York Comic Con. That website possibly maybe a little bit unwieldy with the amount of content I think they're going to dump on it. I would like them, like I say, to embed the video so it's a little bit easier, so you're not having to click left, right, and center. But I think you're going to see an absolute veritable shit ton of content heading out to that particular event. So keep your eyes open. You've got, of course, a month or so to prepare for the virtual New York Comic Con. Another thing as well, I would have liked them to have a dedicated YouTube channel. I guarantee that is in the works. You will find a metaverse YouTube channel coming soon. Watch this space. So there we go. Let's have a quick look at a couple of comments. Aaron Neighbours, only have time for Mainframe, plus I had a few friends on as panelists. Yeah, same here. But I also wanted to see what Repop were doing, what their intention was doing. So it's a case of how they've interacted with fans and how they've got people involved. So there we go. Liam D. So let's just make, I'll pass that on to my daughter who loves Supernatural. Let's have a look at this. The comment is ironic, since anyone who still cares about Supernatural must be broken on the inside. That's harsh. That's a bit harsh, sir. He does say, however, every time I see Kari Hiroyuki Takagawa, my first instinct is to scream Mortal Kombat. Rising Sun is the film with Wesley Snipes and Sean Connery. And that's the one I think of every time I see Kari Hiroyuki come up on screen. So there we go. Right. We can talk about what's happening next weekend now. DC Fandom. It is the big event which DC has abandoned all of the conventions to put together. It's interesting that a number of revelations about books, about animations, about shows have started rolling out over the last couple of weeks just to get people's attention about what they're going to be doing with DC Fandom, but not necessarily taking some of the air out of the balloon. But there's one or two announcements where I just went, couldn't this have waited literally a week, and couldn't they have dropped this during DC Fandom? I found it a little bit disconcerting to kind of have those things just, you know, it could have just, they could have waited just a little while longer. The DC Fandom itself, it's the mega 24-hour event, immersive fan experience. Go on then, let's bring it up on screen. This is the DC release that came for it. And it happens for 24 hours next Saturday. August 22nd, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, Warner Brothers will welcome fans everywhere into the DC fandom. We've seen the video that Jim Lee has put up, that he has designed this central hub, offshooting off to the various areas involving animation, involving comics, involving kids, and involving the various elements of the DC output. DC Watchverse, DC Uverse, Kidsverse, Insiderverse, and Funverse. That is your design. Thank you very much indeed to Mr. Jim Lee for coming up with the central conceit, the Hall of Heroes in the middle. Yeah, I want to see how this is going to work, because this could very much be the slicker version of Mainframe, in that you are going to be bouncing from room to room to room to keep up with everything that's coming out. Again, there was that announcement at the beginning of this week regarding DC and their slimming down, not only from their top management tier to their editors and to their talent, a whole bunch of books that have been cancelled, which is quite disturbing. This has come from AT&T. It's come from Warner Brothers, who clearly don't particularly care about DC, that they will let that kind of information drop on a Monday morning. It's just so annoying to have that sense of throwing DC under the bus. I hope that they recognize that the stories that they're creating, the stories that they're getting money out of by licensing, by they've even discontinued their collectibles line because it's all going to get folded into the Warner Brothers merchandising section. It's just, I'm not wishing it ill, but I'm curious to see how it's going to go next week. There's been a lot of talent under the DC banner that have not been invited to participate. I don't know if that speaks volumes about whether those books will continue. Kelly Sue DeConnick, Matt Fraction, they are not part of fandom. Gail Simone is not part of fandom. Some major names jumped in and kind of talked about how they're not taking part. They have not been invited. It's an interesting setup. The one thing that I have been encouraged by, however, is the panel lineups and just how much panel content there is. So, for example, if I bring up this screen, this is from Den of Geek, because I couldn't find the thing. That's the other thing as well, that everything's so difficult to find. It's not as organized. The one thing that Metaverse has got right is it's really easy to find. But okay. Lots of content that's coming down the line from DC Superhero Girls, The Flash, Black Lightning, Teen Titans. Short panels, 45 minutes, 40 minutes, but I think it's going to work really, really well. I'm curious to see. I can imagine this is going to be very much like Metaverse. It's going to be a slick production. I know that DC for San Diego Comic-Con at Home used StreamYard. I don't know if it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be a lot of professional stuff to cameras. I think it's going to be a very, very slick affair. But I mean, look, there's plenty of it. There is plenty of it. So obviously, I think the highlights and headlines are the Snyder Cut. You're going to be seeing some footage of that. We found out today we're going to be seeing some footage from The Batman. So yeah, it's there's the content there. But is it for us, or is it for the next breed? Is it for the the next bunch of fans. Who knows? The CW audience. Who knows? Let's have a look through a couple of comments. Leanne D. All I could think of was that Dan was more will be pissed with that anthology. This is regarding a newer 80s anthology of their editors-in-chief. Yeah, there's a bunch that have been left by the wayside, unfortunately. Into the Blue Mister. The word I'm looking for with Warner and DC is apathy. Yeah, I think that's the general sense. They need this event. They've not taken part in any other virtual convention. They need this event to solidify the message that everything's all right in the DC Comics world. And quite frankly, right now, we're not there yet. But there we go. I'm looking for two words, common sense, but it's not looking good. Marv Wolfman, not part of fandom. Yeah. Aaron Neighbours. I like Aaron. He's as positive as I am. Looking forward to the Doom Patrol panel. So am I. Like I say, I'm looking forward to the content. I want to see what they're going to come up with. We'll soon find out. That all happens next week. It's on Saturday, and I will be reviewing it for the back end of the episode next week for Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. So there you go. Right. As always, any comments, any questions, anything you want to talk about, even if it's beyond when we're on air, go to the comments, put something in. I try and respond and answer to everybody's comments and questions. So do jump in with anything that you're thinking about, which we've been talking about today. Yeah, I'd be curious to see what you think of not only the two shows that we are running this weekend, findthemetaverse.com and mainframecomiccon.com, and then next week, DC Fandom. I hope it's easier to find. I hope it's easier to navigate. I really like them to open up the fandom on the Friday and let people wander around and kind of get the sense of the geography of this virtual space. But we'll see what happens. Right, so that is our the virtual cons. I want to talk about an idea I have in my head when it comes to what we've got planned for season 8 for this show. The reason why I wanted to bring it up is because I want to give back to my Patreon supporters. I want to integrate the audio podcast a little bit more, so people don't have to watch my face when it comes to the live streams. I'm wanting people to appreciate it in terms of what I'm trying to do and give back to you guys who have supported me, which is why we're having a slight change to our release schedule and how we're going to be doing the podcast going forward each and every week. We've been running for an hour, and hope you've enjoyed the content that we've put up. But something that we're going to be doing as of next week's episode is the way that I'm going to be running the podcast moving forward. Let me know what you think of this. If you don't like the sound of this, tell me. Okay? If you have any suggestions, any comments, let me know if I'm explaining this right. So first up, the Sunday show. It's going to be live streaming every Sunday, 6 p.m. GMT. I nearly said 10 a.m. Pacific. The reason being, of course, it's always fixed to 6 p.m. GMT. When the West Coast, when the Americans change their clocks, which sometimes doesn't happen at the same time as here in the UK, it's always going to be fixed to 6 p.m. GMT. We will be announcing ahead of time when the live streams go live, and I'll be setting up the events for the live streams with plenty of advance notice. So you should have an idea of what time the podcast will be going live. Okay. So live stream every Sunday, 6 p.m. GMT. Facebook on an Englishman in San Diego. I've yet to decide whether to continue to post it to my personal Facebook So you find out. Twitter and Periscope, Englishman STCC. Likewise with Twitch, YouTube, and Patreon. If you are a Patreon supporter, you will be able to go to find a live stream which runs at exactly the same time as this one. It just runs concurrently. What's going to happen is I'm going to be putting a small graphic up on the top corner of the screen. After half an hour, the live stream on all the platforms closes, and it will continue as an exclusive stream for Patreon supporters, which means you're going to get half an hour of show on a Sunday. Please let me know what you think of this. Should it be 45 minutes? Is half an hour enough? But the idea being that I want to give back to the Patreon supporters. They've been incredibly generous to me, and I want to be generous back. So the idea being is that the live stream will continue to run, but on the Patreon page as a dedicated live stream. It will seem like nothing's changed. Nothing will actually alter. Nothing will. It will be a seamless conversation. It will just be that after half an hour, a small graphic will come up saying, "Thank you very much indeed for watching. Join us at patreon.com/EnglishmanSTCC and continue to watch on a Sunday." We'll try and get as much as we can in that first half an hour. We're not going to make it like waffle, the decent stuff after the half an hour spot. It's going to be a solid half an hour. But that's what's going to happen. After half an hour, the live stream on all the platforms will close, and we'll continue with the exclusive stream for Patreon supporters. Then, the audio version of the full episode will be uploaded on Monday at 12 p.m. GMT on SoundCloud at Englishman in San Diego, on iTunes, podcasts, and also Spotify. All of those are available as audio versions. They will be the full podcast in its entirety in audio format. Okay? And then the full complete video episode, free of charge for everybody, will be uploaded on Wednesday at 12 p.m. GMT to Facebook and also to YouTube at Englishman in San Diego on Facebook and Englishman STCC on YouTube. That's the plan. Let me know what you think. I've been trying to talk to a number of people to find out what the backlash for this would be. And I expect there'll be some. I expect there'll be a bunch of you watching now just going, hang on, you're giving us half a show. I get it. But I want to give back to the Patreon supporters. I want to show thanks to them. I was thinking about doing like an after show and doing a dedicated second stream. The only downside to that is trying to get the guests to do it. At the end of the day, they're coming on for free. To go behind a paywall for a Patreon stream, a number of guests turned around and said, well, okay, where's my cut? Which I got. I totally get. But that was the plan. This is where you now have to come to the content, to the comments, and let me know what you think. But the idea is, from next week, we'll be doing a live stream, and you'll be able to watch along and comment along and all the usual fun and shenanigans that we get up to. But after half an hour, the live stream will come to a close, and we'll continue for our Patreon supporters. You'll be able to hear the full live stream audio on the Monday on the audio podcasts, and then the whole episode gets uploaded on the Wednesday. So for 2 days, 2.5 days, 3 days, the Patreon supporters get the full show. That's the idea. Let me know what you think. If you're not watching live, comment below. If you just want to send me a message on Twitter, on Facebook. If you don't want to comment on the comments now, although I noticed that the comments have stopped. Almost, I hope, not out of shock. I'm hoping that I'm not going to lose a bunch of you out of this, and I get why I would upset a number of you. But I want you to know there is going to be a live show. There is going to be a show on a Sunday. It's going to be at 6 p.m. GMT. And we're going to fit in as much as we possibly can. Would you prefer 45 minutes? I mean, we had a great conversation with the likes of Dominic Hates. We had a great conversation with Bill Sienkiewicz that went to an hour and a half. And I like the idea that at least half of that would be for the Patreon supporters as a thank you. That's the plan. Let us know. As always, it's open to you guys. It's open to your support. It's open to your thoughts. But any way that I can make it easier and better, and I don't know, any way that we can just keep this going as a something that you can enjoy and appreciate, especially if you're a Patreon supporter. At the end of the day, you guys are staggeringly generous, and I want to say thank you. Toby is saying, still haven't been able to, it's the live comments show up on past shows. Not sure if it's a setting on my end or not. Well, I mean, you're showing up here. Is it just on the various, which platform are you watching on? Let us know. You're commenting on YouTube. Clearly it's come through. So no, the comments are there. So there you go. So one more time, let's just go through it. Live stream every Sunday, 6 p.m. GMT on Facebook, on Periscope, Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, and on Patreon. Then, after half an hour, the live stream on all the platforms closes, and it continues as an exclusive stream for the Patreon supporters. They should be able to watch it now. If you are a Patreon supporter, you should be able to find it. Oh, Leon D says the live comments goes away after the show ends. Correct. They are fixed to the live show. The audio version goes up at Monday at 12 p.m. GMT on SoundCloud, on iTunes, and on Spotify. And then the complete video episode uploaded on Wednesday at 12 p.m. GMT, so you can watch it in its full entirety on the Wednesday. So there you go. That's the plan. Hopefully you'll let me know what you think, and please, any feedback that you have, do jump in and let me know what you're thinking. But there you go. That is our, that is our show. That's what we got planned. We're going to try and keep it to a tight hour as well. But if we have a guest that wants to keep going, we will do, which means any of these amazing people that we're going to be talking to, yeah, it goes. Let's have a look at this. Andrew English, I don't spread a TV episode over 3 days with vlogs. I watch it all. I will watch it all on Wednesday. I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. I'm just glad that you'll stick around with it. So there you go. Let's have a look at this. Toby, it kind of blows for YouTube. Oh, I think he's talking about the live comments. Yeah, the live comments, as far as I'm aware, some of them do show up. I'll have to check on the playback, but as far as I'm aware, some of the live comments do show up in a box. So yeah, we'll have to look into that. But there we go. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, though. That is our plan. These are our guests. I hope you're going to join us for them. Derrick Robinson next week on Sunday, 23rd of August. And then we have James Tinnan the 4th, Columba, Julie Tate from the Lakes Festival, and That Texas Blood, Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. Those two chaps are going to be coming on. We've got some other guests that are on the line. We're going to just finalize them and find out when we can get them on and make sure that they're all involved. We are going to do our best as well to continue to support Kickstarters and creative talents that are enriching our timelines. So we'll do our best to continue to support them. But hopefully you'll stick with us as we continue forward with Season 8, Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name's been Leonard Sultana. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Take care, and I will see you next week for another Talking Con. From me to you, stay safe, keep wearing your masks, and all the best to you and yours. Take care.